My makeup's looking a little rough. I put it on my face at 7 o'clock this morning, and it's now after 3:30. That's 8.5 hours. But my day isn't going to end until about 10 p.m. That's another 6.5 hours, and I've got to do something to get this through the rest of my day. I'm at home, so I could wash my face and start over, but I really don't feel like it. And besides, what if I wasn't at home? If you've ever wondered how to touch up your makeup midday without it looking like a cakey mess, then stick around because that's what I'm going to talk about on this Quick Tip Tuesday. Okay, so if you've watched any of my makeup videos, you know that in general, I want to put my makeup on in the morning and I don't want to touch it until I take it off at night. And most of the time, that works out just fine. But some days, and I don't know why it is, maybe some days my skin is more oily or I've used a different combination of products. It just didn't quite mesh together as well as they sometimes do. But my makeup just looks like it needs a little help before I can move into the next part of my day. And today I've already been at work and then I ran to Walmart and picked up a few essentials and I'm going to have to fix some supper and then go to rehearsal. So it's a pretty typical long day for me. I am getting over some viral illness that I had last week. Took me down for about 4 days and I felt really rotten, but I'm doing great now other than still sounding a little sinusy. But one kind of lingering thing from that illness is that I've had a little trouble regulating my body temperature and I kind of feel like I'm having hot flashes a little bit. So I've been getting a little sweaty and it feels like it's 150 degrees outside today with super high humidity. So I'm not surprised that I'm looking a little extra glowy today. In general, I don't think my makeup looks too bad, although I feel like it might be a little bit kind of cakey and orange peely texture in here. Because I was sick, I wasn't doing my normal skincare, and so my skin does feel a little extra textured. And I do have some residual nose blowing that I've been having to do, so I am a little bit worn off in here. And my nose is a little flaky because it got really sore and dry from blowing it so much. My chin is a little worn off, and so I'm just going to fix it. One thing I want to point out is that I do have oily skin, especially through the T-zone, so if you have dry skin, you might have to play with it a little bit and see if it works or if it makes you look too dry. And in that case, you might have to do something a little different. The first thing I like to do is take a regular old tissue and separate off one of the plies. I think this one might have 3, but I just want 1, okay? And I'm going to take this and blot the oil on my face. Now, you don't want to rub the tissue. So what I'm doing is I'm putting it on my face, and then I'm going to rub over the tissue to absorb the oil without the tissue moving over my skin. Watch, I'll show you. So I put it on, and then I move my fingers. Does that make sense? So watch here on my chin. See how shiny it is? Okay. And it doesn't take a lot of your makeup off that way. You're not just like rubbing the makeup off. You're just blotting the oil. If you have real blotting papers, I mean, you can use those too. I just don't spend the money for them. And then my forehead is always very oily. So I'll put that up there. And you can see there is a little bit of makeup on the tissue that gets blotted off with it, but the majority of it is still there. And I either have a tissue to blow my nose with still, because it's still got 2 plies, or I've got 2 more blotting tissues that I could just set aside and use on another day. So this is definitely a much more affordable option. And even if that's all you can do, it helps. My skin looks much more matte. Some of this texture that was kind of showing up here is not as much. If you've ever done any house painting, you know it starts out with a flat paint and then it goes through eggshell, satin, and semi-gloss. And the further up that scale you go, the more the imperfections on your wall are going to show because the shine accentuates whatever is there. And so when your face is shiny, it's going to be accentuating the texture and the worn off and all of that stuff. So if you can just get rid of the shine, it's going to help a lot. But that's not all I'm going to do. The next step is to take a setting powder. And one of my favorite to do this with is the Essence 16-Hour Cover and Last Powder Foundation. One of the reasons I like this is because it does add some coverage in those areas where it might be wearing off, but it also just never looks cakey on me and it lasts a really long time. I also enjoy the Moira Soft Focus Waterproof Setting Powder. This is a great one for a touch-up powder. This is what I used this morning over my makeup. I have several powders that I do this with, but really this one is my favorite. So once all the oil is gone, I just take a puff and I'll swirl it in. And then I'm going to just kind of dab and press. I don't want to get a ton in one spot. And I am going out on my cheeks. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. It depends on how they feel. If they feel more oily, then I'm going to set everywhere. If it still feels kind of matte and set out on my cheeks, then I'll just do the inner T-zone area. And of course, we got to go up here. And then I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm going to take a big fluffy brush. I'm not putting any powder on this. This happens to be the one I was using this morning, but there's not much, there's like nothing left on here. So, and then I'm just going to brush off any excess powder so that it doesn't look heavy. And just kind of buff it in. Before I did the powdering, my blush and bronzer actually still looked pretty good, and they're not bad. You can still kind of see that they're here on the outer portions of my cheeks, but I feel like I could use a little color on the inner portion of my cheeks. So I'm going to take that blush brush that I used this morning, and generally there's enough on it that I don't have to put more on. But this time it looks like I could use a little on here. And today I used the L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Blush in C34. This is one that I used in a video recently where I was showing products that I had used up completely and repurchased. This is a blush that I had used up completely, and this is my second one. I really love it. It is such a pretty cool tone pink shade. Has a little bit of a shine to it, but not a lot, and gives just such a healthy flush of color on my skin tone that I just really love it. And I wanted to have it in my inventory again. And then the blender that I used this morning, not wetting it again or anything, I'm just using that to blend. If I feel like I need to, I will sometimes touch up my eyeshadow. I did a more neutral everyday look this morning, and honestly, it pretty much still looks the way it did when I put it on. Other than I think I'm going to put some eyeliner on, not because it wore off, but because I forgot to put it on this morning. I'm never happy with my mascara if I try to reapply midday, so I'm not going to put any on. I'm just going to kind of use my fingers to press the lashes up and recurl them a little. And I don't like using an eyelash curler on lashes that have mascara because I feel like it's just really harsh on your lashes. But your finger can often do a pretty good job of just kind of lifting them a little bit. And then the only other thing I'm going to do to my complexion is put on some setting spray. And I think you could see I did a spray across my forehead and on each cheek. And I just press that in. And then I just need to redo my lips. And I'm going to use the Moira Lip Appeal waterproof liner in Senorita that I got with my gift card that I got from my good friend Leanna Dalton for my birthday. I recently just updated my full face of Moira video, and I will link that in the cards if you want to see it. This is such a pretty color. And one thing in that video that I said I wanted to try was to fill in my lips with this lip liner because it is super long lasting, but then use the cream lipstick formula that I got on top of it to make it more comfortable, because this would be a little drying if you just left it on by itself. But you could put it on and then do a gloss over it, I suppose. All right, I gotta be quiet. I can't talk and do this. And then the lipstick is a traditional cream bullet lipstick. And it has a shaped bullet, like a curved end there, and it's really comfortable to put on. And that's it. I can face the next 6 hours and not worry about my face. You may have noticed that I didn't touch my under eyes. That's because it almost never works out well to do so. It's better to just leave what's there. If I try to add more concealer or powder or something, it really is not going to go well. So the lesson is fix what you can fix and leave alone what is better to be left alone. If you got what you came for and it was helpful, then I would really appreciate it if you would hit that thumbs up button, give me a like. It is such a simple thing, and I know you hear it all the time, but it is a huge signal to YouTube that people are interacting with this video, that they enjoyed it, and that they should send it out to more people who might enjoy it too. And if you need to run because this is Quick Tip Tuesday and that's all the time you have for, then I'll see you in the next one. That's great. But if you have a second, stick around because I want to talk about City Beauty. So City Beauty has been sending me some PR and I haven't really had a chance to talk about them much, but I have been using the products and I have been really loving the products. This clear City Lips Plumping lip gloss stays on my vanity and I use it before I put my makeup on pretty much every day. It is hydrating like immediately, but it also has good ingredients like hyaluronic acid, oligopeptides, and soothing moisturizers that plump your lips over time as well. And the reason I'm telling you about it now is because I have two little things to tell you. One is their limited edition fall shade Sparkling Cider is available to order now for this fall. This is a gorgeous shade. Look at that. Just the reflect in there. It's a warm gold cidery. I mean, it's just so pretty. Just perfect for fall coming up. I'm not using that one today because I don't have that warm of a look on right now. The one I'm going to use with this lip combo is San Diego, and it is more of a pink, and it's more of a shimmer rather than that reflect glitter. I don't like when my lip gloss wands get lipstick on them. So I generally take my finger and then just dab so that I can keep the wands clean. But if it's not a big deal for you, then you can just put it straight on. But look how pretty that is. And the second reason I want to tell you about it now is because there's a sale starting on August 29th that goes through September 4th. And it is a buy one, get the second of equal or lesser value lip product free. This is on lip products only. It's on all of the City Lips Plumping lip gloss shades, the City Lips Night Oil, and the City Lips Line Therapy. This Line Therapy, I don't actually like using during the day because I don't like the way it tastes. What I do with this is at night, I take some on my finger and I close my lips and I put it on the outer portion of my lips only. Yes, it would help if I put it on my whole lips, but I just don't like the way it tastes. So I only put it on the outer portion of my lips. I will have links down in the description box to the products I used, the powder, the blush, but especially the City Lips products. So the way the code will work in your cart, you need to put two products in your cart. They will both show full price, but when you put the code Lippy50 and apply that, and you go to checkout, then it will apply the discount. I know that touching up your makeup isn't rocket science, but I also know that sometimes I have touched up my makeup and wished that I had just left it alone because it looked so much worse. And so I wanted to show you what I do on my 59-year-old skin to get me through a few more hours on a really long day. I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.